fucking idiot. Why are you cutting grass this early? It's like, dude, we know you're doing it to get back at the world. You're not doing it because that's the only job you want to do. Cutting grass. There's never been more jobs on earth, by the way. Don't let them fool you. They're telling you, oh, the economy is so you're holding an iPhone. In feudal times, if feudal all you guys complaining, they'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? You're holding an iPhone. You don't have a scythe and you're not fucking carrying bags of rice, you dumb monkeys, man. The economy's so bad. There's no jobs. You incarnated in the most jobs in the universe, you fucking monkey. You can do anything you want to do, which is worse than doing what they tell you to do if you think about it. Because if you tell a human you can do whatever you want to do, they always do the same thing and they don't do anything. It's like if you tell a human you can have any bitch on earth and you show them 8 billion, 3 billion bitches, they immediately freeze and go, I can't choose. Wait, I can't. Maybe that. Wait, no, not. If you give a human limitless opportunity, they just freeze. So it's better to give these slaves a fucking job. And I'm sorry, man. I know this hurts a lot of your guys' feelings. I have friends, I have uncles, I got brothers like this, bro. Dude, most humans, 90% of the world, by definition on Wikipedia, are a slave class. Do you know what slave class means? It means they're unfree. They work unfree. They chill out with beers unfree. Everything they do is unfree. They don't build up to an award, a vacation or something that they worked hard for. They're always on vacation, always asleep, and always doing nothing with their lives. And it's so weird that people will message me, well, Zherka, what if they're just going through it? I mean, you can't be angry at that because they're not doing much with their lives. Like we've all been there. I'm like, dude, when I was doing nothing with my life, I was still in my self-destruction phase. Self-destroying is still something. Do you understand? There's like I was still breaking the pieces. So even when I was not building, I was always active, destroying. Because the devil is in that whatever you call that area that you want to pretend is neutral and in the middle, but it's actually dry, unconscious, and frozen. It's whatever that is, that in between jobs mode that people, that is a fog people get stuck at. They don't have, they have warped perception for the rest of their lives after that fog. And sometimes I'm thinking, like, dude, turn the blade, the grass blade cutter thing off, man. Turn it off. Don't do that shit. You know. I had some idiot comment. No, Zherka, you're actually lazy. You're not concentrated. You're not. You're just lucky. You know, you cannot. This is the one thing you cannot hide from humans is concentration. You cannot hide concentration and intellect. You can hear by someone's voice if they're just fucking relaxing or if they work even when they don't work. You can hear it. They become more rigid, they become more angry, they become more irritable, but it's so worth it to get your shit done. That is so worth it to me. And some of these guys are like, oh, actually, you're just partying with hoes all the time. It's like, if you saw any of the snapshots of my life, you'd realize it's impossible. That's impossible. It's impossible. You party with one hoe, they're in your mind for a couple days after that, so it damages your work and focus. You technically, by your definition, it's I would have the greatest concentration in the universe if I was doing it all at the same time, but I'm not. I throw it like a Scooby snack, my nigga. So stop with that. I think I actually work harder than Zherka because I'm cutting grass. And you're trained to feel sorry for immigrants who cut grass for a living. Really? If Ferrari gave me a fucking V12 engine right now, and I never used it, wouldn't everyone call me ungrateful? So if God gives you an instrument like your brain and you don't want to apply your etheric life forces in front of your just just circulate around your frontal lobe a bit and focus. How is that any different? Most humans you see on earth, when given a V12 Ferrari, they will do nothing with it. They will do nothing with it. I'm telling you, if you gave 90% of people on earth this V12 Ferrari, La Ferrari, the Ferrari, within a very short amount of time, they won't be driving it. They will go back to being dry and unconscious. That's most humans on earth. That's who you're defending when I say slave class. There's two types of slave classes. One, the broke, and we don't like them at all. There's something really, really self-destructive about you champion the broke. Sure, if they're starving, but that's not the broke. We're talking about someone else. We're talking about a different class of group soul. We're talking about whatever we see in Walmart. They're not starving. Matter of fact, a lot of them are obese. That's not broke. That's not biblically broke. Being in debt is not broke. None of that has to do with scripture. Scripture's not talking about the people at Walmart. That's not the meek. That's the weak. It's not talking about You're not, no human is starving at Walmart. All those guys walk around with debt. And everyone always asks me, can anyone make it? Well, just ask yourself, if you had Aristotle as a mentor for 5 years, every day he's on your ass. And not just expanding your thinking, but making you feel confident, purified, and activating your will. He's he's totally got you doing everything you're supposed to do. Do you think you could make it with a mentor like Aristotle? If your answer is yes, then you're actually answering that 8 billion people on earth can make it. Now, where would they find that mentor? It wouldn't be a mentor. It would be them using their thinking to gain knowledge and concentration, both so life, concentration, and the knowledge, and maybe get a 1% of Aristotle a year if they work hard. But if you look at how successful a man with Aristotle, I mean, the last one was Alexander the Great. He did everything you can do on earth, right? So if you could have 1% of Alexander the Great, that makes you 100 millionaire, if not more. And it might take you 10 years or whatever the fuck. But if you're admitting that with the right kind of guidance, you can make it, you're pretty much saying anyone can. And I'm not saying anyone can be a mathematician. I'm saying you grab a black guy, sit him down with Aristotle, and Aristotle would be like, look, it's not going to be math. You're going to make your success, what you're trying to do, through a different pathway. Are there niches of niches that eventually that tiny niche becomes a regular niche and then it becomes the middle and then it becomes mainstream? Does every human have their niche? Yes, that reservoir of energy, of interest, mine is different from yours. And you guys are a lot alike to me. In some weird way, you guys listen to me, so you have to be kind of like me. Right? If you're listening good, that's like the true test to see if you're like someone is if you cannot, like, let's be real, if there's no camera with women, it's not entertainment. You're just listening to a guy talk on a phone right now. So if you turn it off, you're not that much like me. But if you listen to this, there's no content on the screen. There's nothing to dazzle you. There's none of that. It's just information. If you can just listen to this, chances are you're those followers that are kind of like me. Dude, if you're kind of like me, You're kind of like Alexander the Great, but you're not. You're a, you look at that guy cutting grass and you go, he's working hard. No, he's not. He's fucking playing with a chopper. I've wanted to do that to this day. I've wanted to buy that thing, right? I've always wanted to buy that I would do that for fun. Do some whatever and go cut grass for fun. That looks like the best time on earth, especially to be alone with your thoughts and you put on those metal fucking headphones so that you can't hear the annoying sound, but you can torture everyone. And that's like my dream job. I do that online. This motherfucker woke me up with that shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you can look at his deeply unconscious immigrant face, just looking at the grass, looking at his past lives where he did horrific shit. And you're like, Pedro, turn it off. It's fucking 10 o'clock. Just turn it. The grass will be there the next day. And they walk from neighborhood to neighborhood, pissing everyone off with the ew, 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 and pissing everyone off until someone says, yo, fuck off with that shit. And they always look up and they go, okay, I'll walk away. And they walk slower. Turn the fucking grass cutter off. It's 10 o'clock. I don't want to use my brain, so I'm going to do grass cutting job. I don't want to use my brain, so I'm going to get a grass cutter. Listen to how they think. I don't want to use my brain, so I'm going to piss off everyone in civilization. What? In my perfect society, we go up to Pedro and say, give me that fucking machine, you little fucking short immigrant, short incarnation. Give me that fucking machine. Here, take these hair cutting scissors. Go fucking cut grass, you little fucking bitch. Get on your knees and cut grass. Dude, in the past, they'd make slaves work. What the fuck is this? Have fun with a grass cutter. Ever since I was a child, I want to walk around with that thing. Everyone on earth wants to do that job. Would you wake up at 6 a.m. to do it? Yes, I would actually. It would be fucking awesome. I'd have some coffee and I start cutting grass. It would be amazing. What are you talking about? That's a hard job. That sounds like a lot of fun. And I know they're high. They're high on the job. So what are you talking about? You feel bad for these. You spend your whole life feeling bad for lower class of people, and then you realize they don't even use their instrument. I'm feeling bad for humans who don't use their instrument. Why the fuck did I spend decades trying to use mine? Why didn't I just start cutting grass like that guy? And they half-ass everything. They're like, oh, I'll just save up $100 and get everything's half-assed. They don't even chase the bitch. They go, I'll just pay for it. I'll just cut grass and then I'll go here with my buddies and I'll go more unconscious with a few more beers and we're made to high five these people, bro. I've always had this instinct to stand up for poor people until I grew up and realized how it is. I remember the first few years of Twitch success, I think 2018, 19, 20, 21. Those years, I would just keep defending broke people. So, because I'm like, I relate to them. And then eventually you evolve out of that and you go, actually, I don't relate to any of you. And this is not like a superiority thing. This is like if you're broke, you have not suffered, period. Only if you ever see a successful person, you saw someone who suffered more than you. 90% of the time, with the exclusion of people who you should feel bad for. If anyone got their inheritance from their family, you should never be like a lot of people tell me, yo, my buddy's got yachts and their parents just buy them everything. And I'm so jealous of that. I'm like, really? Even when I was a child, I was not jealous of people being given money. I was always staring at the people who made it. There's something so attractive about humans who, even if a woman makes her own money, it's kind of like, whoa, you did that shit, you know? In a weird way, it's like there's a mutual respect there, you know? Or it's like when you watch Shark's Tank as a child and you find out one of the sharks got extremely lucky and they got it through inheritance and it totally ruins your opinion of them, right? It's like those people who say Elon made, you got $100 million loan or Like if it was on paper, someone handed me a paper and said Trump inherited 100 million, as cool as that is for his strong thought forms and his incarnation task, it's not as badass as the original Trump story. What did he tell us? He told us I got a small loan of $1 million, which I don't know how much I buy that, you know. Because I always worry. It's when comedians exaggerate, it's not the end of the world. But he's not a comedian. He doesn't try and be funny. He is funny, but he's not trying to. So when Trump exaggerates, it's not. There's no comedic effect there. The exaggeration's just it's a blunt lie to your face. I don't think Trump got 1 million from a billionaire. Why would a billionaire dad ever give their son just 1 million if they're kicking the bucket? That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even make sense. Or like what a lot of people do, they have 100 million in the trust. They can't access it. They can only access 1 million, and they go, "Yo, Zherka, I got a small loan of 1 million." I'm like, "Yeah, but you're safe. It's still back in there, right? It's still back in there. Like this idea that all we're made to do is feel bad for people. Oh, that guy's broke. I feel bad for him, dude. Do you know why he's broke? 'Cause he's a bad person. That's the truth. Like when you look at how little unconscious souls stand up for the weak or anyone hurt, they never stand up for people. So when you meet someone broke, what does broke mean? It means unconscious. They're not the hero. They're not the hero at all. And in for thousands of years, I would defend the poor because I'd see them hungry. But the poor are not hungry. The poor are obese. Why are we calling them the poor? The average poor person is obese. This is like the land of credit cards. It's something very different. And where are the real starving poor that they get no attention? We have to like look at people cutting grass and go, man, he's got it tough. And I've always been that guy that I can't even return a plate at a restaurant if they bring me the wrong plate. I just eat that shit. Because anyone who's like slave laboring for me, I never want to make their job harder, right? And I've always hated that about me too. Like I went my whole life never saying, actually, I didn't order this fucking spaghetti, you dumb bitch. I just eat the food. I feel like it's womanly to complain. It's like there's just calories in your stomach. We're eating for energy, whatever. It's still food. Even if I don't like it, I just eat this shit and move on with my day. Like, what are you talking about? But then there comes a point where they start fucking up every order. And forget the food orders. That could piss you off a bit. But have you ever had new couches coming in and they fuck all that up? And they're like 6 months late on your couches. And you're like, dude, I'm being tested so hard not to transform into a racist right now. But you gotta send me a picture. I gotta see who I'm talking to. You gotta send me a picture of your fucking face, bro. Because I know this is not normal. 6 months for a couch. I want to move on with this shit. And you start buying TVs, and nowadays they do. Every human does everything so unconscious that they box up the wrong TV. You could go buy at like $5,000, $6,000 TV, and they just box up the wrong one because it was next to the one you pointed at, and it kind of looked like yours. And oh, I didn't notice that I gave you. Is that weird? Remember when we were kids, they wouldn't fuck up that. Now humans are really asleep at their jobs. You go ask for some like lemon meringue ice cream, and she tried to put green tea. I think it was Earl Grey tea ice cream she tried to give me, and I'm like, what? That's a flavor? People order Earl Grey ice cream. Are you trying to poison me? What is that? What are you talking about? Green tea flavored ice cream. And it's at the point where I'm too cranky for this shit. I'm too old for this shit. I just turn around, I was like, man, fuck your ice cream. And I just left. And I keep doing these things where they're so out of character, but I feel so authentic when I do it. It's so out of character for me to embarrass myself for something small like that. Usually I'll go for bigger things, right? But after the couches and all that, you just get irritated. It's like, man, fuck you. I'm turned off. You picked the wrong scoop of ice cream. I'm not mad that you didn't put the lemon scoop. Or fuck that up. I'm mad that you assumed a human being on Earth wants a scoop of Earl Grey ice cream. What is that? What the fuck is Earl Grey ice cream? What is green tea ice cream? What is this? What is this fucking? Don't bring your Chinese taste buds to these countries, bro. We don't want them. We don't want, you know how stupid immigrants are? If you go to any third world, go look at the flavor of chips they have. What the fuck are those flavors? They have weird ass flavors I've never even heard of. 95% of Earth eats weird flavored chips. And they try to attack me. They're like, well, you eat ketchup chips. So you're fucked up. Ketchup chips are delicious. What are you talking about? Ketchup chips are delicious. What are you high? You go to Mexico, you just buy whatever their flavors are fucking weird, man. There's no all dressed. It's called all spice or all season or some weird ass shit. And they put black pepper on chips. Why are you putting black pepper on? It's not a potato. It used to be a potato, now it's a chip. Put some of that vinaigrette shit they did. Like, what are you doing? Everything's so backwards, man. Everything's so half-assed. It's like if I did these spaces half-assed and turned my camera off and just spoke on a phone for millions of dollars or $1 million, Myron makes millions. I'm at 1 million. And that's just sad. Anyone else in my shoes would turn this to 100 million so fast. But I can't stand the internet, man. I can't stand being this close to it. I remember one of my best speeches I gave. The first comment was, "What's Zherka's shoe size?" I was like, "What the fuck am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life?" Like the first comment was, "What is Zherka's shoe size?" I don't even know what it is. I What does that have to do with anything? That's why I'm like, yo, if it's just fanboys, what's his elbow size? If it's just fanboys trying to like relate, like maybe if I have his shoe size, something happens. If it's just fanboys trying to relate, it really turns me off, right? And sometimes it feels like fanboys because when I see you guys in public, you guys always have this gay smirk and smile. The fuck are you smiling about? And I always think, is it because they're thinking of me saying something funny? Even my family, my brothers, if they see my face, they just start smiling because I've made them laugh so they get ready, prepared for it. I'm like, that's not how it works. You don't meet a human and I have to fucking dance monkey dance. What the fuck? So when I see you guys in public, you do that little gay smirk. The fuck is that shit for? You guys tell me you love me. I know you love me. I'm literally paid. I'm paid because of you guys. I'm paid literally because of you guys. Stealing your money, I'm paid through that. You don't have to tell me you love me. Make it all gay on the street in front of the Starbucks. Fucking tell me you saved my life. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. You need to fuck off with that shit. I saved your life. How the fuck can one human save another human's life? You're controlling your own limbs, bro. Did I come up to you and say, hey, don't jump? Don't jump. Don't jump. It's not worth it. They're gonna miss you. They're gonna miss you for a couple hours. Are you joking me? I love you, man. You keep it real. What does that even mean? Are we rappers now? And since when have humans made this the thing where they high five each other for being real? For thousands of years, being real, you're not supposed to say it out loud like that, bro. Being real is not a thing. For thousands of years, you'd be made fun of if you were fake. Now that everyone's fake, it's cool to be real. For thousands of years, a farmer was just a farmer, and now a farmer is a. Have you seen these guys who they're rich on influencer media shit, and then you meet them and they're like, "Yo, bro, my credit card declined." I'm like, "You are from a state that has farmers. You are a farmer. You are not an internet celebrity. None of that. How can you be a celebrity if you don't even have money?" And every time I meet these influencers, yo, Zherka, you kept it real and shit, my card declined. Your card declined? I was gonna pay it anyway, but it declined in front of you. You're humiliating me in public. You have a check mark. People know who you are. You're walking in the restaurant like so confident, and what? That is crazy to me. I've never met one. People ask me, hey man, when you're around all these influencers, which one has like the best information for you? Here's the best information when you get around these kind of celebrities. The best information is go to their apartments, go to their places. You will see that they're poor. They're they're all poor. And to me, if you're poor, it means karmic substance isn't getting to you. You're doing something evil and wrong. The trade cosmically is not happening. You're a scammer. I don't care how much your whole chat loves you. You're poor. You're a scammer, bro. You've been doing this for 10 years. You have this many followers and you're this poor. I've never, you get in the entertainment sphere and you go, if I meet enough people, they're going to change my life. That's never happened. If I meet the right person, I'm going to make the right money. That it's always you have to make the right money on your own. All of the money on your own. And then when you can sit in a room with other people who make money and you can leave that room without asking them for their number like a little bitch, they ask for your number. They actually want to work with, they want to take you to the next level. They want to mesh with you. But it's only individuated humans that want to mesh with people because everyone learns their lesson. They work with some dude who's a fake scammer or a phony, or there's like a lot of people with a shit ton of followers that are poor with poor ideas and they try and convince you in their idea. And then you go, what a waste of time that was. People ask me, well, which collaborations are your favorite? I don't have favorite collaborations. If I could have it my way, I would delete everything I did online with other people and just keep the solo shit. But that would be violently against the marketing strategy of pouring people into the good advice. Pour people into the right direction, into the narrow gate. It would be horrific if we deleted me yelling at hosts. It would be horrific, right? Because here's what happens. Incels go, I want to yell at a female. There's no females around to yell at them. I'm so repressed. I'm angry. I want to watch Zherka. He's yelling at her. He's yelling at her. And then they find me. That's the commercialization, dude. The superficial part of my life is the commercialization, but it's also the real part of me. But it's not the only part, right? There's got to be something more to me. Why does there have to be something more? It's because you meet influencers. And bro, hey Zherka, can you pick me up from the airport? What is it my turn to land the fucking plane? Why the fuck would I pick you up from the fucking airport, you dumb? You don't have fucking Uber money now? How do you have 1 million followers? You're fucking poor. And it's always because they have a girlfriend, they break up and they lose half their shit. And actually, it was a common law thing, and she has to take half my shit. I'm not even married. I still lost half my. You lost half your shit, not even married? How's that even? How's that even possible? It's a common law thing. It's a dude. If the government ever knows people live in your home, women live in your home, you're a loser. Why the fuck would the government has to know that about you? Well, no, she kind of just moved in. And how do you move a woman into your place without? I've never moved someone in without grabbing the luggage and kicking them out. I just kick them out. I say, come back in a few weeks, bitch. I don't need you right now. Be useful. You guys this guy lives 3 years with a chick and she broke. You have 1 million followers and you're poor. That's mental illness, bro. That is mental. I have to pick me up from the airport. I block you, man. What do you mean pick me up from the airport? That's the saddest text I've ever seen. I'm this close to going to that airport and going, Allahu Akbar. As soon as I give you that hug, my nigga, I will fucking get you arrested as you land. But I'm not gonna do that because that's just stupid. Bro, I'm so tired of niggas need favors, man. Pick me up from the airport. My car has one seat. If I pick up a dude, I look like I can't even fuck. My car has two seats, bro. One for me, that's one seat. My car has one seat. I drive around with you, I look like we're on a date, bro. That's not normal. That's not normal. It's like you see those guys, you drive around in a convertible, it's two homies, getting no bitches. They're driving around like, yo, that looks fucking weird, bro. Drive behind me. No, get in the Uber and drive behind me. Think I pick you up. It's crazy, bro. After all these years of meeting everyone, they're all poor. They're all poor. I think Sneako's the only one that didn't feel broke nigga. And I never felt broke nigga energy. Sneako and I would always throw money at the problem. Always. I don't even like the guy. But that's one cool thing about him is that dude, he gets busy. He'll go find the money. He's not weird and looking for these guys have crypto scandals and there's always some kind of crypto casino thing they're doing and then they go broke. You're karmically poor because you do these weird. Every single gambling streamer ends up broke. Have you noticed? It's just XUC, Aiden Ross at the top, but 99% of them we chilled with on Twitch, Among Us days, all that shit. Where the fuck you guys had 2,000 viewers, bro? Where are you? They all disappeared. And I don't mean like disappeared. They're not filming content. They're doing it. It's just they're not in the toolbars. You can't even search. I'm the most banned human in the universe on Twitch and on Kick and on everything. And my nigga, I have never in my life asked a human to pick me up from the airport. Pick you up from the airport at that time in the morning. And I woke up, I'm like, I'm not thinking of this shit. Bro, I'm hearing the fucking grass being cut by some fucking immigrant unconscious. It's I was like, turn it off, you fucking Mexican. Turn it the fuck off. You people, I've never met a Mexican that's not unconscious. And you like Mexicans. I do, but they're unconscious. If you're gonna cut the grass, I will give you scissors. Go cut, bitch. Focus as you cut. Develop your soul forces as you. If that fucking Mexican cut grass with scissors, he would leave with so much concentration by the end of the shift. He would be the next Steve Jobs, but he'd rather go unconscious, let his eyes hang, and go. Meow, meow, meow. He lets his arm hang. There's no precision. There's nothing. You think Michael Schumacher just fucking lets his eyes go unconscious and just like, "Oh, I'm gonna let the car drive itself, nigga." No, bro, Michael Schumacher is focusing because if he doesn't, he's dead, nigga. He's dead. And I know I shouldn't make fun of dead people, but that nigga died skiing. Like that can't be the GOAT. Nigga, you died skiing? This is like Super Mario, like the fucking Mario Party world. Like, what are you talking about? You died skiing, nigga. You're supposed to die behind that V12. That's crazy. If I was speeding with V12s and I died skateboarding, bro, you guys better ruin my legacy, man. You guys better say, yo, this nigga was dead off a skateboard. This guy's a fucking loser. That's crazy. That is the biggest tragedy is you do badass shit your whole life and then you die fucking bowling. Yo, nigga, bro, that is the tragedy of the world. You could build up the greatest legacy online. People are like, yo, Zherka is my prophet. And then you fucking die golfing. Like, dude, you can't be having a heart attack on a golf course. Hold it. Hold it, nigga, and walk. Walk off the golf course. Go into the street in front of the biggest fucking bus and then have your heart attack. You'll be a badass. But to die on a golf course, nigga. Google how many people died on my homie. Yo, after you pick me up at the airport, let's go play golf. I'm not like you. I've never had a human ask me to go play golf. That's got to be the gayest man on man date. That is like some fucking old geezer shit. What kind of fucking human? If I go to the golf course, we're doing MDMA, nigga. In the fuck by the alligators, we're doing crack, nigga. We're doing something fucked up. Put me in the field like an animal and ask me to be civil. You're putting me in a grasslands, bro. You're putting me on a field and you're telling me, hey, here's your stick and here's this the putt. How the fuck you expect me to pick you up from the airport and do with you? I've never met a human that plays golf that I respect. Tiger Woods was so bored of that shit, he started fucking bitches, bro, and cheating. He started drinking and said, man, I'm doing the gayest shit on earth. I gotta cheat. He had to feel masculine somewhere because he's doing it on earth. It's a nice day, huh? Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a good weather. Yeah, here's your dry stick. And what? Men are actually into weird shit, bro. Everything is unconscious. Let's go play golf. No, bro. Hey, you want to play golf? How about one-on-one? You, me bowling. No, bro. I don't know about bowling because it's gay. No, you see two men go bowling together. They're the on earth. That's not normal. That's not normal. That is not normal. Two men going bowling together. Have you ever gone to movies with three buddies? One of them doesn't make it, so it's just you two, and you have to watch the movie. And the only thing you're thinking of is like, yo, this is the gayest experience of my life, bro. This gotta be the gayest shit I've ever. You cannot go to the movies just two guys. It's not. You have so much fun until you're coming out of the theater and your crush is there and she sees you and you guys look like you're holding hands coming out that bitch. It looks horrific, bro. Right? It looks fucking. There's stuff men can't do. Men can't go pick each other up at the airport with a convertible like you're my Barbie bitch. That's fucking weird. And I spent my whole life picking up homies from the airport until I was successful. Then I said, I will never spend 5 minutes of my life doing something I don't want to do. I will never, dude. You know how many parties I'll go to? Hey, it's not for me. I'm leaving. No, John. I can make it for you. How are you gonna make it for me? How? Right? These chicks are so normal. How are you gonna make it for me? Huh? No. They need to go back to 5 years old, see their father leave, beat them up. The dad leaves, breaks their heart. Then they grow up and come to this party, and now it's my kind of environment. These bitches are talking about golf, and I work at the golf course. And yo, you're so boring, bro. I don't care how good looking you are. You're boring. Humans made it. It's normal to cut grass. It's normal to go bowling. It's normal. This shit's gay activities, bro. It's not normal. That's not normal. You know what's normal? Go in the street and get cracked in the face by the big at that club. That's normal. For thousands of years, this is initiation science. That's normal. Fucking cracking a golf ball, think you're doing something with your life, bro. No, give me the high stress environment. Don't give me a golf course. When I go to a field, I concentrate on a blade of grass for an hour to prove to myself I'm nothing like these Zoomers. That's normal to me. I can easily do that. But all of that is conscious. When you ask me to go have unconscious, you know what unconscious fun is? Let's go have a couple beers. Let's get a little more dim. Let's dim our consciousness a little more, a little more. You're poor. Why are you having beers if you're poor? Did I have one beer when I was poor? Never. Never. Nose beer so I stay awake to make more money. That's it. And it's been years since I've done that shit. But I remember being broke. I'm like, guys, I'm not touching anything at that table unless it is connected to Wall Street. If I'm going to harm my health, it's going to be like the Wall Street guys. It's not going to be like, they'd always just keep handing me the Heineken. Here's the Heineken. Here's the Heineken. Or the Coronas or the. And it was like, so it was so ugly. And I start staying at the VIP section. These guys would be like, actually from New York Wall Street. I'd be like, yo, bro, what do you do? What, no. What do you do? Because I know you don't drink. And they never were drinkers. One idiot said modafinil himself, so modafinil's dangerous. Narcoleptic, like what the fuck? And the other one said Adderall. I didn't even know what that was back then, right? Because I was into the party stuff. I didn't know that there's, 10-hour shits and stuff. And I'm super against Adderall now, but I'm super against it because I got a million emails saying I took Adderall and I'm even dumber and more poor. And I'm like, ooh, dude, it's clearly not the drug. You give Adderall to a genius, maybe he gets, he'll get more work done as a genius, more activation of will and life forces towards work ethic and all that. But you give Adderall to an idiot, and he's just he's like watching Game of Thrones, learning everything about it. Which is scary, bro. If your dopamine is, Because remember, you can be a master at watching Game of Thrones. You can know everything about it, or you can focus on something that actually makes you a master in something that will pay you dividends, nigga. So be careful on that. If you buy your low kick, watch Game of Thrones. Some of you guys know, dude. I had buddies who watched TV shows. I was like, dude, when you become an adult, where's the Pokemon Adventure? Where is the TV show in my life? You know, humans become adults and they get the TV at home and the furniture, and then they're watching TV shows. It's like watching isn't life. There's nothing about watching a whole series on Netflix that is living. That's all unconscious and drifting and weird, and you're drifting into someone else's dream that they're getting paid for. And I remember being so angry at 21. I'm like, there is no Pokemon Adventure. You just got to go work at an office. It was all a lie. As a child, they told me when you grow up, you get a big sword and a badass bitch you got to fight for. And none of that was real. You grow up and they say, here's your maca, here's your matcha, here's your coffee. Dude, all the fantasy that you're built up on as a child, as a teenager, when you're closer to spirit, dude, all of that, all of those imaginative forces, they disperse, and you're told, hey, actually, life is about after you finish your office job, you can go watch The Office at home. I said, really? With this 9 millimeter in my head? Is that how I watch it? Is that how I watch it, nigga? You want me to watch The Office after I'm done at the office? My first sales job? And that lasted a year, and bro, it was fucking hard for me, bro. An office job to an office life. So I said, fuck this shit, man. And I went into the underworld and I went to Falcone's boys. I said, where's the Batman, nigga? They said, there is no Batman. We do illegal shit. We sell this, we put this in the back of your car, Zherka. You drive here, you go through that. If you want to try a border, you can try a border. You want to make $150,000, but we're actually giving you 50 first. As in, we're scamming you first and you're taking all the risk. And then I said, I like this. This is alive. And I felt my body pulsing in living forces for the first time, right? And you have to put like this mask on. Like, dude, these guys are 40-year-old guys. You're the young guy, but at least you're in a world where you can go to prison and shit. It's a real world now, real consequences. And you go, oh, this is living life. This is it. And what am I trying to say with all this? It's pretty much, dude, without the risk, nothing ever happens. Risk to go to prison. You can't be a millionaire. Remember when I risked getting banned on Twitch by infiltrating e-girls chats and picking them up? It was very illegal. It's the only time my channel grew. When I pulled a gun out in a video game, in a joke, my channel grew. All the drama, channel grew. It only grew when I took risks. Then you look at all the pauses and yeah, your life doesn't move without the risk, ever. It doesn't budge. Reality doesn't, nothing happens in reality if you're not there's no offering, there's no sacrifice. You're like, yo, this is what I'm sacrificing. This is what I put to the table. Where's the sacrifice in golf and bowling and this kind of shit? What is this shit? Is there anything more gay than having fun? I've never had fun. I don't even know what fun is. You want to go play golf and bowling? No, actually, I don't. Actually, I run a business and my job is to inspire people. That means I cannot be around you. You're infectious. Playing bowling. How old are you? I haven't been bowling since 10 years old, man. Nothing gayer than bowling. Fuck that shit. That's not normal, man. All right, let's bring some people in.
Yo, hello.
Yo,
What's up, Zherka?
yo, you're you're boring me.
Yo, Zherka, bro, what's good, my friend?
What's up?
Nothing, man. I'm in this island in Greece, and my friend, he's drinking beer, and it's sort of related, bro. Fucking relate to that shit. Why the fuck he's net born and he's 27, nearly fucking 30, and he's drinking beer. Not he's fucking poor. Yeah, and I'm 20, bro, and I just don't want to live like that.
Is he hearing this shit?
He's right in front of me, bro. He
Tell
just
his
took a
ass he
fart.
broke as
He
fuck.
just took a fart in front of me, bro.
Nice, nice.
But he,
That's crazy. You got no bitches.
that's right, bro.
It's not good.
He said, "Nah, bro, you're 100% right."
Those are the guys that go bowling together. What the hell? He's like, you're 100% right. I'm living that life right now. What's up, Adolf?
Hey Zerka, so I was reading some Steiner, and one thing he mentions is in order to gain clairvoyance, you must kill off ambition, kill off love of life, and the wish for comfort.
Yeah.
Why does he mention kill off ambition?
Because most purification for most people happens around the Swedenborg time at 55 years old. So have you ever noticed how men lose their drive at, a little bit at 30, 40, 50, and it slowly fades into them becoming not a machine, something very dad-like and more, you could say, in the middle, right? And it kind of looks ugly to a young guy, but to a dad, it makes sense. The energy levels shift, everything switches, even their drive for getting bitches, it transfers and goes upwards, and they get more into books or something else, and they find hobbies that occupy their time. This is their ambitions transforming, purifying, calming the fuck down, and eventually fading into a gray-haired man. This is why for thousands of years, sages were supposed to have, they always had a bunch of kids. And then around 55, they go completely celibate and start their monastic journey with their kids around. And then they get more extreme and they go to the mountains alone. And so it was for thousands and thousands, for 10,000 years, it was always like that. And with the rare exception of premature purifications that actually go correct. So maybe like a Nick Fuentes type would come around the scene and they'd want him to start earlier because he's done more self-remembering. Like I think Nick knew what he wanted to do at 16 years old, which is extremely rare. I think that's more rare than like 0.00000 whatever. I can't imagine anyone like Nick knew at 40 he's gonna be something to do with politics, but it was in a detailed way. And at 16 to join those kind of clubs at school and stuff, it's very rare. And because a lot of people are like, well, a lot of Nick's friends did that too. Yeah, but they did it with, there's no certainty when they did it. Like you could see in old footage, they're speaking with a shaky voice. They don't know if this is what they want to do. They don't know if they want to be Elijah Schaefer in politics or bitches. They don't know. But if you look at 16-year-old Nick, his self remembering started really early. So he was speaking with certainty. I've seen more of the clips at 18 where he's really certain. 19, 20, more certain. Now, it's like when you look at Nick's life, besides the traumatic events and all the stops, it's just confidence building straight. Is like a linear way in a straight path, even after all the bumps. But if you look at a normal incarnation's life, the confidence builds, then it goes down, then it goes back up and plunges even deeper down. And it's a very shaky graph. And the more shaky that graph is, the more you hate your life. A lot of people go unconscious and say, well, everyone's graph looks like that. That is true that everyone's graph looks like that, except mine. My graphs was even in despair. Confidence was going on every time I'd get shattered and fired from jobs. somehow it would transmute to more confidence. The more desperate I got, more confidence. So my graph was always going up. But if you look at Nick's graph, it's even steeper than mine. And mine was turbocharged. He was not turbocharged. He didn't use any extra medicines he found in nature. His is basically in the middle of himself. Like when you see 100% sober incarnation who's never enhanced in any way, that is very hard to do what Nick did. That is extremely hard. Like that's a lot of soul forces built up. That's like that's exactly what you want. And I can almost guarantee you that Nick always felt irritable when he went bowling with his buddies because it doesn't have anything to do with his mastery, right? If you asked him like, hey, did you ever enjoy going bowling with your friends? He can enjoy it like a social person, but he cannot actually repeat it. Once is enough. You look at successful people, they do a lot of things that's like once is enough. They'll go bowling, but you look at your homies, the masses, they go bowling every week, if not 3 times a week. And it's like a social environment. And the scary thing about social environments is everyone starts off with the idea that it's networking, but it always bleeds into we're being social for the sake of being social. We're talking for the sake of talking. We're talking about nothing. We're talking about super interesting, meaningful stuff that is still nothing. You know what I mean? Like humans, when they're talking about something that's
Yo,
away from us,
Zherka, it's the same shit you're doing right now.
yeah, are you trying to be cute? You're my you are my fan. I don't even know you, Mexican. Now check this out. What was I saying? It's always a Mexican that ruins the fucking vibe. Listen, go cut grass, you
Like you,
fuck.
which
Yeah,
When
kick
you
that
when
fucking
you look at
faggot.
yeah, it's always Mexicans, bro. Mexicans laugh a lot. What's there to laugh about? You're poor.
Yo,
You're
Zherka.
literally poor.
So true.
All right, get the fuck. Now check this out. Humans who are social for the sake of being social, if you don't know what I mean, drive by downtown and look at everyone having their brunches with their beers and stuff. Those are humans being social. Do you know how you know someone's being social for the sake of being social? They're politically correct. They can't rock the boat. They can't say anything that's within their hard forces. And so when you look at most life is like that, and I'm not saying that you become like this weird freak that you can never do that. That would be bad because that's what job interviews are is, you maximize a bit of that social energy and you take it to an interview one day, which means you're working for someone else. Right? Imagine incarnating on earth to have a boss. I think I'd rather be homeless, right? I'm fucking rather jam heroin. But anyways, that's why I could never keep one job. I always get fired because be like, what'd you say to me? No, I didn't like your tone. Now check this out. When you
Zherka.
look at how much of your life is social for the sake of being social, talking for the sake of talking, blah, 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 dude, all of that time should be gone to mastery. What are you mastering? Why was Nick mastering his field at 16 and you started at what did most people start at 28 when they freak out? That's wild, dude. That is crazy.
So, Zerka, do you think that you should be willing in your headspace and thinking in your heart or feeling in your heart?
What are you talking about, dude? Feeling is the heart forces. Like that's the center. That's feel. For example, do you know what does feeling mean?
Well, to me, uh,
Not to you. What does feeling mean?
feeling means I would say it's more of a loving inner. It's so you got willing,
No,
feeling,
no, no. What is the
thinking.
definition? What's the difference for feeling and thinking? It's very simple.
Thinking is completely mental, so it's just has to do with your thought process. Thinking of
What?
thinking, being able to be aware of your
No,
thought
no.
processes.
No, no, no. Thinking tells you what it is. Feeling tells you if you agree or not. Sympathy, antipathy. So think of feeling as the duality of do I like something or do I dislike something? Is it a good feeling? Is it a bad feeling? If you don't know the basics, bro, it's like your whole life. You whole life if you don't know what a feeling is. right? That is wild. That is like if I'm at a party with you and I go, hey, what does your feeling life say about this party? You'd look at me and be like, actually, you know what? I don't agree with it. There's no bitches. There's everyone's ugly. Let's get out of here. That you're supposed to use it like that. You're supposed to see the world as you agree or disagree with where you're at. Most damage in reality comes from staying at a party and I don't know if I like it. Maybe it'll get better. No, it's not going to get better. Your feeling life is telling you. Just get out there. You're wasting your life, right?
Do you agree with the Hermetic point of view where it's fire, air, water, earth? So it would be willing in your head, thinking in your heart, feeling in your gut, and then earth in your feet. Or in the Jewish perspective, it switches air and water. So it would have feeling in the heart space, thinking in the gut, because they
No.
both view it differently with the four worlds, with the four bodies.
Yeah, I know. And you got to watch out because anytime there's obviously traditions say things differently all the time, but there's also, you could be wrong about this too, the evolution of consciousness where it actually changes meaning over time. So that's why I say when you guys are reading texts from thousands of years ago, you're fucking yourself up. I don't, if it's the Kabbalion and Hermetic principles, that's fine, right? Those are always going to be around, right? Rhythm, polarity, all that. But if you're watching these kinds of videos, remember I say if I was king on earth, I would go to the esoteric section online and nuke all of it. I would delete all. It's all bullshit. All of it is 99.9% of it is bullshit, right? That's why we only have one source on my website. We only click on one thing. We only click on main sources. We don't click on actually. Here's what this guy thought Steiner meant, and none of that fucking shit. And it's kind of like everything you engage with in life that is dreamy, like, oh, I think I understand it, is not actually understanding, right? Go to the literature. Don't go to, I can tell you're watching videos, bro. You're watching
No.
videos.
I've got your full book. Well, maybe not your full book list, but I get it all from reading.
You gotta, all right. Well, I'm telling you right now, man, all you guys
I,
focusing on the wrong things, right? You should start with the more, important stuff first. Like, for example, how do thoughts work? Since you read this stuff, go explain how thoughts work.
Man, putting me on the spot right now.
That's fine
Sometimes it's
because
the
you
simple
see my
questions that
Twitter,
get me
but
like
you see
that.
my
Yeah.
Twitter every day, so that's fine. You could just steal from my Twitter. What are thoughts doing?
Well, when I do my meditations, I pretty much just focus on my thinking and what am I thinking at the moment. Uh, just kind of
What?
sometimes the memories come to you, just kind of like Steiner mentioned that
Yeah,
memories
but you're
come
not
through you.
supposed to be thinking during meditation. You're doing it backwards. I'm saying, what is thinking in your everyday life?
Well,
This is what I
it
mean.
can
That
either be
even the guys who read,
unconscious.
even the guys who read, don't know what the fuck they're talking about. This is terrifying. What does thinking do? I post this every day on Twitter. I even repost it so you guys don't forget. What does thinking do? What is a thought?
It's your scaffolding.
Thank you, but it's what is a thought what does a thought do to stone?
It refines it.
There you go, bro. Use it. Sometimes I think like there's no way I retweet this a million times, and the humans are so unconscious. I guarantee you, if I ask all of these guys who read next week, what is a thought form? None of them will be able to define it. It's like, what is a thought
We don't
doing?
really think our thoughts a lot of times. They
What
kind of come
the
through us.
Okay, what are your thoughts doing actively right now? They are reorganizing and shaping your inner structure, which brings a feeling of yes or no, sympathy, antipathy, whether you should will something into the world or not. whether you should be successful or scattered, whether you are evolving consciously or letting the world pull you apart, whether you are a millionaire or I'm just reading Steiner. I like to read Steiner. I just like to read a bit and feel smart. And it's supposed to bleed into your life, each
Zherka,
thought form.
what's the path to individuation?
What the fuck is that? What is even that?
How
What
do you
is that?
how do
What
you
is that
become
question,
how do you
bro?
become individuated in today's age?
You press a red dot in between your eyes. Go boop. Are you asking how do you go through life? Has any human ever answered that question? Even if you answered it, there's still
No, no,
8
no, no.
billion.
I'm not asking
There's
that.
8 billion different individuation paths.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
can
How do you begin? How do you discern and go apart from everyone else and be on your own individuated path?
you get cracked. You suffer. You go through traumatic experiences consciously. There's no other way. When have you ever seen anyone just become the man without
Trial and
right
tribulation, right?
with no without being shattered completely to suicidal depths where it gets really dark and you never see when did
Hold on.
well, here's a question, when did Eminem individuate? When did Eminem even pop off and what happened the years before he popped off?
I have no idea. I'm gonna be
What
honest.
was before Eminem popped off was the years of extreme darkness, right? All those pieces got, all of his soul forces, soul pieces got forged in alchemical fire, and his ego consciousness, that means his I am, rose above everyone's, and he said, I am whatever you say I am. And as his spiritual ego consciousness finally set in from all that karmic suffering, his song blows the fuck up as he's saying the name of God. I am is the name of God because God wants you all to individuate in every single color and angle. So when people are like, oh, he did it with the devil, and you're so stupid. All humans work with the devil every single day. It's not people check into his office. Every human transmute their devils until they finally get angel wings. When Eminem pushed out of that, his suffering didn't stop, but he saw his karmic reward, and which isn't the money. It's actually the lifestyle that there's friends around him, producers around him, social environments around him, women. He has someone to talk to. He's not alone. He has kids, blah, blah, blah. All of that came out of all the karmic pains he went through, everything he's carrying he finally lifted it upwards. He suffered for it and he said, I am whatever you say I am. And he is Mr. 2000, right? He incarnated to lead every unconscious soul that's suffering higher. That is his spiritual progression. Even when he's doing the bloodbath, even when he's doing everything you call satanic. Did you know all of the satanic tracks Eminem made? Do you know how many of those tracks stopped young men? That's why he gets rewarded for it. Everything you point your finger at and say is satanic. Do you know how many people wrote to Eminem, Slim Shady? Hi, my name is what? My name is. You know how many people wrote to him and said everything evil that you talk about, murder and death, everything you're talking about, I went through that in my life, and your mixtape saved my life. Did you know that? So that's why when you look at a human, you should never say that guy's with the devil, that guy's. They're doing both at the same damn time. That's what it is to error. And there's a lot Eminem transformed. If you look at his interviews now, he's a dad. He's extremely refined. You guys can call him boring, but I call him healed. He's healed. There's no human more individuated than the tops of success. So when you look at spiritual progression, you're seeing people transform their evils. You're not looking for sages because they're not looking for you. They're hiding. They don't want to do anything with this stupid shit. A sage today would look at Eminem and say, keep going. You lifted a lot of people up with those tracks. And people are like, why can't he make that music right now? Because to lower these instinctive, evil, horned up impulses, once they're transformed, they are transformed. They are something else. Even if they went lower, they'd look different now. They wouldn't be evil. They might be a little bad, but not evil. That's why he can't be evil anymore. He could just be a little bad. But how much beauty came out of his evil? How many people did Nick Fuentes take to the Christ Force using a bit of evil? Like, when Nick's getting at people and destroying their lives and going, fuck this bitch. And we use evil. We transform evil upwards all the time. That's what it is to be human, right? Like
Let
Paul
me
was
ask you. Let
cutting.
me ask one more thing.
Paul would, nigga, am I talking or is your
I,
poor ass talking? Am I talking to a fucking poor person? You think I want to talk to a fucking poor person?
Let
Paul
the
was
fucking goat
cutting
talk.
fucking. Hey, am I talking or are you talking? Paul was cutting niggas' heads off. Our Paul, Saint Paul. That's why when you guys sit around and go, oh, I don't know if I want to smash bitches. I just watch Zherka all day. Clearly, you want to smash bitches. Why are you following me? Clearly, you want to transform those desires. And a lot of people don't know. If Zerka's preaching that thought changes inner structure, which purifies the feeling, and you move on to your actions, your deeds, your wills, and it becomes consequences of your life and your destiny. If I'm preaching thought, why are Zerka's thoughts always about smashing bitches? Clearly because he can forget to do it. I'm so used to all of my forces going upwards into my skull and making $1,000,000. I don't give a fuck. Nobody can stop me. And then months, years pass by and I ignore bitches and it's not healthy for me, especially in these years of my life. Super unhealthy because at 55, Zherka should not be doing that. Hell, do you think Trump was doing that at 55? Well, maybe with Epstein, we don't know, but my mind always goes towards mastery, always. And it totally builds a nasty shadow that's not the kind of shadow you transform, the kind that sinks you into mud and anger and irritability. And so when I'm posting these comments, I'm posting to remind myself so my thought forms can ask. My feed is so clean that I have to randomly post on random women's posts just to get the images in my head so I remember to not waste the summer. I remember to be in the middle of myself. Because if I could have it my way, 10 years alone, fucking successful. I would love that shit. But it's not the path. That would be the worst thing you can do as a Chad incarnation. The worst thing you can do. That is the worst thing you can do as a Chad because there's stuff in your stomach that wants to happen and pushing it down is stupid. That's why everyone's like, yo, bro, I'm too horned up. I'm too evil. No, you're not. You don't even get to smash. The women's in your life, the women's in the world. They're the ones who are horned. They're the ones smashing. You guys are dry. That's why I comment, go out, go get her, go get her, go. Men need that lightning. They need that. When I say need is a strong word. When I say men need that lighting, what am I saying? I'm saying it doesn't go away if you push it down. So that's why I hate my nerdier nature that doesn't want to go out and be social with chicks and stuff. I'll do that in a couple months. I'll do that rain season. I'll go here. I'll go. No, no, that is not normal. All of the bad in your life happens when you do that. All of it. I'm talking about guys my age. 21-year-olds should not be listening. So it's so fucking normal at 21 to let months go by and shit. But if you have million fucking dollars and you're refining mastery, and your mastery has to what? It has to do with a Chad incarnation. Don't waste your Chad incarnation. It would be easy if you could just waste it and just forget about it. The soul doesn't forget. It says, I didn't get to do that yet. The worst thing you could have in your soul is a snapshot saying, I didn't. How many people listening had their souls say, I didn't get to do a lot because of liberals and their COVID? Remember when liberals took away 4 years of your life? And it took so long for you guys to become mentally fit. So it was probably even more than that. Remember when I say the left is evil, that's exactly what I mean is, dude, you're like the first generation to lose those. What other generation got locked down? Dude, it's much better to fight a war outward in the world, consequences, than to be locked in a room and have the war with yourself. Are you kidding me? Do you know how fractured you are? Do you know how wounded you are because of that COVID that you chose to unconsciously forget? When I tell you guys that it's like, guys, restructure your thought forms. Go out with chicks because you haven't done it in 4 fucking years. COVID did that to you. COVID made you an institutionalized little bitch. And now Christians in chat are saying, stay unconscious. Stay like a little bitch. You've only done 10 years like a little bitch. It's like, yo, where are the guys on Twitter encouraging, where are those uncles that the whole family would smile when the uncles would say, go get some bitches, go get some bitches. You remember those uncles? Like, where did they go? Now uncles don't talk because they're so suppressed. They sit in the corner in their anger thinking about, man, I have no money, I didn't make it. It's like, what? There's no one on earth that tells men your hunter forces have to go outward into the world, right? To the point where imagine I'm encouraging niggas to go get drunk because you're not having adventures without it. It is much better to go get drunk and have the adventures than stay home and think of adventures in your fucking measly skull. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking joking me? You're telling the It's like if you tell the youth to live a Charlie Kirk lifestyle, none of them do it. Only Charlie did it. That's why he's special. And in my opinion, I don't want to be rude. I have nothing against this guy. It's not like I'm holding a grudge. But in my opinion, Charlie Kirk is considered the most boring incarnation in the universe. Right? I can't imagine anything more boring. I swear to God, there's no one on the left more boring than Charlie. And, I don't care if righties get mad when I say this. To me, to me, a Charlie Kirk incarnation only made sense in the 1950s. That suit and tie boring shit, or a different timeline than today. The Eminem incarnation makes a lot of sense. He dyes his hair, does whatever he wants. He says, I'm the god of this shit. It's just ego consciousness talking. That makes a lot of sense for today's day and age. But the suit and tie thing is for a different part of evolution. It's abnormal. I mean, his heart was in the right place. He did get paid for that because he was doing something. But to me, Charlie Kirk was a force of repression where he sets maybe 1,000 kids the right way and 1,000,000 kids don't listen to him. He had millions of followers. They weren't even living his lifestyle. So I don't know about followers, right? I don't know. Maybe just people who clicked follow button. So when you look at what do the masses want? We got to look at the breaking into the early 2000s. That's a good place to start. It is a lot of I'm the shit, that kind of energy. When you see that energy in the youth developing, super healthy. It's You cannot be egoless unless you have an ego. You understand what I'm saying? That you cannot be you cannot be a loner unless you've been social, because then you're just repressed, right? It's really dangerous to go solo in the world and think of, wow, I'm so lonely, I'm blah blah blah. But if you go out in the world, get a shit ton of friends, get popular, and then leave all of them to do Zherka shit alone, nobody is allowed to say Zherka suffers from antisocial personality disorder. No human is allowed to say that to me. I don't care. He doesn't even want to hang out with his friends. He doesn't want to. I could be a sage and be solo for the rest of my life. All of you guys would be like, yeah, he already proved he's the most social. He already proved it. You got, and I'm not saying just social media. You got to prove it to yourself. To be a true loner, you want my path? You want to be a true loner that smiles when they're alone? You want my path? You have to be social first.
Why are so many
If you're,
people?
let me just keep rambling because I'm gonna be honest, man, and I gotta say this. I'm not just picking on you. When you guys talk, it reminds me. This is crazy, but it reminds me of just like mentally ill cancer patients waiting for the hemorrhaging to start. You know what I mean? Like there's something about anyone else's voice on my spaces that ruins the whole space. I've never watched back a clip without I have to cover my ears when I watch my own clips because I want to laugh or learn when other people talk because there's something about a non-individuated voice that's extremely unattractive to the ear. It is like you start to miss people like Andrew Tate. If he was on the space, you'd be like, yeah, okay, he can talk. Yeah, Zherka would let him talk. Like an individuated voice. That's fine. He suffered a lot. He gets to talk. But these voices who have not suffered, these voices, they're like, well, what about this? What about that? Are you joking me? Right now you want to talk? How about you don't talk right now? How about you let the freight train keep, how about I run a train on you and let me keep going? What are you talking about talking for when I'm talking? Are you're talk what do you have to say? Is your next sentence going to be better than what I do people tune into you to hear your thought forms or what's going on here? Isn't that pure ego? That has to be pure ego. He's projecting. Interrupting a space this good for a weird, half scattered, drifting question as you're playing Rust and Minecraft. You think that's normal? You think that's normal? You could just interrupt genius to say, well, what about this? What about this? I was gonna take this into the whole Eminem talk. Now, everyone listening, I'm not gonna mention Eminem. I'm not gonna finish what I'm saying. No, if it's not good enough for one of you, it's like, dude, we're gonna derail. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. That genius can be found. Remind me to repeat this week. TheZerkaOfficial.com. My real boys who actually pay, those niggas get it. Those niggas get it because you guys are just some freeloading fucking dumbasses. And it's like, do you want to be alone in life? If the answer is yes, you have to have a lot of friends before you start that. You have to have many years with a lot of friends. I don't care. You have to do it. Once you have a lot of friends, you've had that for a few years, then you could say, Zherka, now I want to be alone all the time. And then I'll be like, okay, go. That's how it works. Zherka, I want to be egoless and help the world. Okay, then build an ego first. Build an ego so strong that when you walk around, people go, yo, that's Zherka. You whisper that all day, yo, that's Zherka. That's the kind of ego you want. You walk in somewhere and people's thought forms immediately go into your world, not theirs. You absorb intellect as you walk in a room. You absorb attention, energy, and the best part, envy. And people are like, oh, it's the evil eye. It's bad for you. No, absorbing envy is really healthy. When people envy you, that is really healthy because that's the first time you realize, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be in my life. If the whole room's envious of me talking about this subject, this is the subject that has to get mastered. Because from all your masteries, you're going to refine it to one subject. That subject will be refined into mini pieces that take 10 years each. So even your mastery becomes a niche, you know? Like, for example, if we broke down thinking, feeling, and willing, and you said, Zherka, dedicate the rest of your days on earth to mastering thinking and really helping people with that one, we'd still have to refine it further, but we'd never get to finish feeling or willing ever in this lifetime. That's just fair. That's normal, right? So when you look at, no human has enough time on earth. They never actually finish what they came here to do. It's always partially finished. Even Alexander the Great, I would say, is partially finished. He didn't get to go all the way. That's how powerful humans actually become. So imagine how little you guys are going to finish. No, do not fall for all this retarded mental illness. What did they say? Ego. I had a ego dissolution. Ego, what did I say the first day on the internet? I said ego is a good thing. I said, like, I was really defending it. They're like, he's got an ego on him. I'm like, ego is a good thing. Even retards like Donald Trump have an ego. Soul forces. Look out into the world, dude. There's nothing there for you. Look inward, and the world is waiting for you to rape whoever, whatever, whenever, however. I feel like rape is the word of the week with this community. Every time I look at Jabon's face, I see a rapist. He looks like a low, like, I'm not gonna touch you. We could just sleep in the same room. And then you just wake up at night and he's like, yeah, you like that? I was like, what? You take your top hat off, sir.
Zerka, what do you think is closer to God? Somethingness or nothingness?
Wouldn't the answer be that they're the exact same thing, though? Because one is just when the ultimate and the eternal is closing his eyes and asleep, and the other is when he opens his eyes and Summerland goes outward. So if you look at any duality sages and their teachings, it's really the same thing. It's also that whole, you have to feel the emptiness of the world and be the last one left in the universe and feel that level of loneliness to explode from your heart, the whole universe, and say, no, it should be loving, it should be diverse, and everything should evolve on its own. That's why all initiation science, by initiation science, I mean, some of you listening, and I know it's more common than not, it's just, and it's not something you forget, is some of you will have a psychedelic experience where you melt into a black hole and you go downwards. And it's a moral downwards. It's not just a physical, because the physical disappears. There's a moral falling, way different than being in a fallen world. Something that elongates you, and it's infinitely terrifying. Like when I think of how terrifying existence actually is, it's because I've had that. And that moment is called schizophrenia. That's called psychosis. That's called, and I, not that I ever got told by a doctor this. I'm saying some of you at certain points in your life will not mix up your psychedelic experiences or whatever you go through. You're not going to mix up a lot of those illusionary states, and all of the mystical stuff won't matter to you when this one happens to you and you fall through infinity. And it's not a dream, it's more real than real. And it's so terrifying that when you do find your core and you rise from that, everything makes sense. Like when you feel all your darkness and how much is left to transform, and you have a long way to go and all that, everything makes sense after that, because you go, every single sage and mystic on earth was correct, and all the philosophers were wrong. They were kind of right, but not eternally right. Find one sage that you read their writings, and it's always something timeless. Even though the closer you get to your timeline, the more true it becomes, right? I'm not talking about teachings, I'm talking about their sayings, really. These are because these guys didn't write shit down. They'd live life and people would watch them and record them. And they're all speaking of love. And it's not the love that you've been taught. It's you have every day you have to talk about it with yourself. You have to practice it. You have to burn with it. You have to, it's not enough to read it once a month in a poetic book of Lao Tzu at all. It's like a militant, you are so fucked. You are so fucked if it's not militant. It's so militant that after all these decades, my one mastery, and I'm doing it with anger issues. Isn't that horrifying to the average man? If someone's been doing this long, like Zherka, and it came from my gut too, even before I was into it. I just knew as a 5-year-old. I had some self remembering with me. I just knew better. If I get this 1,000-year head start on you guys and I'm doing it with anger issues, you guys are so fucked, man. You guys are so fucked. Without the head start, and you probably have the anger too, you know? Like the modern world comes with a lot of. How many of you guys scroll your Twitter feed and go, yo, this is meaningless shit? I'm a TikTok girl talking about, so Jeffrey at work did this. I don't know if he stood too close to me and I felt weird. And you watch one of those videos, you go, whatever happened to this bitch at work has nothing to do with the universe evolving. It's just her in her own little retarded world. And that's how fair God is that she can have that retarded world. She can talk about Jeffrey until she's 70. And most women do that. You talk to an old lady at the supermarket, she'll tell you about some guy named Jeffrey who did something funny 70 years ago. She's still in that high school thought bubble. That's fucking horrifying. And if you ever want to speed things up and say, I'm going to have a plant medicine ceremony and I will be self initiated and I will go through, and the guys who go through it are, they're talking like me. Very rare. You don't find a human like me on earth. But most people went through what I went through. Most of these kind of more mature, how you say, I'm not talking about mature in the world. I'm talking about just that they're drawn to this. Most people who go through this break into schizophrenia and psychosis, or what is the most common one is a long form psychosis where no human knows that you've lost it and it takes 70 years to reveal itself. That's a horrifying one, right? That's like, it's no joke. That's why I say people who speed this up without moral progression, it's terrifying. It is, that's got to be the most terrifying thing, that like Zherka destroyed that guy's whole life. That guy thought it's his turn. It is terrifying if you don't just live your life like a dude, like a man with balls. That's why some of you guys are like focusing on all the wrong things. Your anchor is your mastery. Your anchor, that mastery is also your career. So it pays the bills. So you calm down as well. There's two right there. Eventually, your mastery is not going to pay you at all. And you have to leave the money and go from career to career hybrid with mastery to just mastery. And you will go that way. And it will be you leaving your earthly nature. And everyone thinks it's a sad thing. No, it's not. If it's not premature, you're ready to walk away. Your dads have done it in a mild way, although they don't get any rewards from that because they haven't actually done it. I'm saying they went dry unconscious, but whatever your dad was in his 20s was not in his 50s. It's not there. Super healthy. It's just your dad is just like a tech support guy. So obviously it's not, there's nothing there. It's just empty. I don't know how much we want that, right? But if your dad has a mastery over something, then you can calm down and say, oh, okay. So his thinking's more alive. He did something on earth, he did a lot. But if your dad doesn't have a mastery over something, chances are you're going to be like you incarnated with those niggas, man. You came here with those. And the beautiful thing is, if you rise, sometimes it brings the whole family up. Do you know how many people I know who became millionaires and their fat families all got fit? So they didn't benefit off the money part because it's not like the son would share it. He'd just get married and move on with his life. But that positive energy got everyone in his family more fit, more positive, because the thought forms, they matter. And if you guys are thinking, oh, every human's walking around with thought forms, no, they're not, right? Those are the shadows of thoughts. Those are like the lower forms. Those are, we don't call that thinking at all, right? Like if you go to a mall, just look closer. They're not thinking. None of them are, they're all in a dream. And the dream isn't supposed to be seen as something you're afraid of because the dream's the best part. You know, you smash a bitch, it gets a little dreamy fast, right? It's a lot of fun. The dream is awesome, but only for pockets, right? Pockets meaning an hour at the most. The dream cannot be longer than an hour. So when I pick up my guitar and I play, right, it's an hour and that's it. So I'm not mastering it. I'm just having fun. So I can go into a dream for an hour. That's fine. But I can't do more than an hour. I have to let go of the guitar. But if I'm a musician, the guitar becomes alive. And now it's 12 hours on that bitch, nonstop. I forget to eat, and so on and so forth. Go to the mall and look at how many people are in their little dream. You think God's going to wake them up? You think God is going to poke them? Has God ever poked someone and woke them up from their dream? Hell no. You get to have all your dreams. That's by definition, God is, you get all of your dreams. Your whole world talking about Jeffrey, the old lady at the supermarket, at the mall. You get every dream you want until it's time to wake up from those dreams. And nothing makes angels rejoice more than waking up. Man, that process is vicious. You know how many people have woken up for 7 years? They put all their efforts into it and one thing goes wrong and they fall down the ladder, start from zero, but they can't even start because they're in a dream where they actually think they made it, right? You pop off, you're famous, and then you realize, whoa, all the fame is actually keeping me in my bubble dream. I don't like to be dreaming. I don't like to be dreaming because that bubble can move around the river. It can bounce against other bubbles and it could be taken downstream somewhere that I don't know where it's going.
I like to just say one quote from Steiner is just as the sun vivifies things, so does reverence vivify the soul. How do you incorporate reverence in your daily life? And how does that vivify your soul?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a conversation, morning time, breakfast, if I have breakfast, right? Or let's say dinner, hot tub, friends. I've never had a conversation that doesn't sound like Zherka. To me, the name Zherka means reverence. Even if I'm joking about something eternal that we're headed that way. Every conversation I have ties back, even with the clerk at the store. I'd say, "Did you incarnate to do this job?" And they'd smile at me. They'd be like, "No, in my past life, I was." Everyone knows what it means. They've seen it on their ancient aliens shit, whatever. So everything about me is to keep me focused on the one goal that matters. And that one goal is, how do I go the rest of my life with God in my heart? With all those distractions out there. That is, how can my whole day become prayer? Even the parts where I'm cursing have to transform and be cursing for a reason. It's to inspire someone. And this is the clip I watched of you, Zherka, and it inspired me. And I go, good. And the tricky part is, you sometimes end up thinking, I wish I was living in a different time where I could just go and meditate with 10,000 students in the wilderness with no women around because they'd split the women and the men. And you start daydreaming. That gets scary fast when you start daydreaming of a world like that, where you go, I'm built for that. I would do so much better there than here. And then you get checked because technically I'm doing more with the profile and the socials, but I hate it, dude. I can't stand it. Like, if you ever catch yourself daydreaming of living in a different time where you actually fit in, and you don't know how happy I'd be around 2,000 monastic incarnations, no women, no distractions, no. I mean, the task of our age is, you cannot go solo and avoid women because that doesn't build concentration. You have to remain awake and concentrated with around you. So this, in ancient temple science, this would also be a physical test where there's 10 of them nude and you walk up into the tikal, into the temple, and you have to remain pure and not be tempted and walk through all of that. Different, depending on how savage it was, would be 100 priestesses nude that you'd have to walk through slowly, and you're not allowed to look at the floor. And they're grabbing at your arms, but you're not allowed to look at the floor. You're actually supposed to talk to each one of them with a loving heart and look them in the eyes. And they're trained to take you down, because if they can corrupt you, you are not meant for the higher knowledge world with it. That's why those women are trained to destroy instinctually everything the man built up. You grab one ass, it turns to something quick, right? And a lot of people are like, yeah, it's just one day. If you walk through it, it takes 20 minutes to walk through, 30 minutes, but you got to talk to all of them. So maybe an hour. And yeah, I could do that. And it's like, it's 30 days in a row. And it gets harder. They give you wine, they give you stuff to make you unconscious and dreamy, and they give you fears and they terrify the fuck out of you and break you down. And every human fails this test. Now, in modern times, this test is being done in the world, in the free love world. And you're supposed to develop in a way where in your 20s, you indulge. In your 30s, you identify one and stay with her. In your 40s, you strengthen family with her. And then you fade out of this whole social sphere and go inward. And I mean, like, deeply inward. That's why some of you guys at the peak of your concentration, you guys are going to be like, okay, Zherka, now at the peak, now I'm ready for the next lesson. I'm like, okay, now you have to be around whores at parties and maintain your composure, which is going to make you more attractive to them. If you watch any of my clips, it doesn't look like heel Mike, right? Like at all. which means more women, more bond, etc. And the stronger you get, you're going to have more women in the world's temple to tempt you. And there's no real way to go about things. Some people go the King Solomon route, right? And then they fade away and turn into Dan Bilzerian, right? A lot of bitches to one. He's at one right now. That's a King Solomon route. Doesn't seem like it destroyed him. So far, so good. So far, he's karmically favored. So far, he's doing great. And he's standing up for dead children. So that's good too, right? He's going in a direction that is purifying. That's what we want to see. And he was chosen for that mission because a lot of people would just continue to have heart attacks with bitches for the rest of their lives and die. Clearly, Dan has some kind of strength and soul forces built up for this. Was he supposed to be lost in the sauce for that many years up until 45 years old? Yeah, because it's modern times, we see that. But in my opinion, it is strange to have no social media helping people at 25 years old. Like, you don't have anything for the world. You know, like Dan started at 45, his incarnation task, and it's ego driven. So it's not the healthiest way to go about it. But he's doing it. There's other people who their purifications are extremely strict. And you think, whoa, this guy just has so much willpower, but it's not that. It's some guys are just meant for girlfriend, wife immediately at 21, like Josiah's. And because he didn't suppress that desire to get married quickly, he gets rewarded for it. He's doing what he came here to do without any outside intervention telling him he has to do that. So everyone unfolds in a different path. Most human beings unfold through an extremely broken path. And I would never want to wish this on anyone, but I'm not talking about Josiah. I'm just talking about every human that's around me that's married. I would never wish this on them. But just because my predictions always come true and it reinforces me, I have to say it. They will all be getting divorced. Every single friend I have. And it breaks my heart to say that, right? That's why I always smile when they give me advice. That's why I always kind of like internally laugh. And I'm not just saying this out of the blue. I said this about my older brother and everyone in my life. I said, you know, I never even got involved with any of their relationship building processes because I said, I don't really want to get involved when you're just going to break up with each other. And everyone in my family thought it was so rude. And then now they all laugh about it. They're like, oh, yeah, you're very right about that. Like, how did you know everyone's going to just break up? Because, like, young incarnations, right? I don't mean young like, oh, I'm 21 years old. I mean young like 8 billion people are young souls right now. All of them. The weirdest thing is you're going to even see boomers adopt those platforms and get divorces. Even boomers who are nothing like you guys are going to be behaving like Zoomers. That's going to trip you up the most, right? You're going to see couples at 60 have a change of heart, right? For most people on earth, it's just going to be a shit ton of broken relationships. That's right now the biggest norm. And everyone thinks that's so evil, that's so dark. That's fine. Right? You don't trust me. In the past, you'd be with one ugly looking bitch for like 100 years. That's it. For most of the past, for an average guy. So if you think about it, this one's a lot more colorful. Like it's really colorful, right? Relationship building is actually it's a drag because it's gonna make scrapes and cuts on your heart, but it's so necessary. You don't even know how to treat people until you feel how fragile a human is, and you go, "Damn, I snaked that person. I got snaked back. I got snaked by another person." So that's how that feels, and so on and so forth. And it's like, who's living the correct life on Earth? Nobody. Did Dan Bilzerian get karmically punished? No, he didn't. Even incarnations like this is gonna be mind-boggling to some of you. But if you look at my buddy Manuel Ferreira from Twitch, there's a reason why he's a good-looking French guy, and all he does is smash. His job is to smash bitches. There's a reason why he's not ugly. Because he's doing it with love, thinking, feeling, willing, no hate in his heart. So he's not a monster, even though the job is considered monstrous to us, a tantric job. Oh no, we've been taught other things. And no. Then you look at other guys who smash all the time, 90% of them are ugly as fuck, very scattered in the face. What's the difference? It's they're unconscious and they're doing it with hatred. Now, obviously, I've never said this on calls because it's weird to encourage guys to become porn stars. Obviously, I don't want to encourage anyone, but I'm trying to paint a bigger picture of, yeah, you can structure your face in a good looking way, healthy soul, and do jobs that you think are extremely unhealthy. Now, can the reflective force in nature do this? We've seen some women do it, but I seriously doubt they can. Like, that's a very different thing. I mean, it's more rare. I'm sure some temple priestesses can reincarnate and do that job. But as soon as you start seeing the world like this, you stop wondering about, does God hate porn stars? No. Manuel Ferrero actually has a beautiful life. Kids, wife, doesn't let his wife get banged. He's just like doing everything like an alpha male lion. And people hate that. They're like, he should be punished for pushing loving thought forms out in the world. No, that you benefit from that. It's good that when he's piping, he's a good human being to these bitches, right? Same with Jason Love. Did you know Jason Love is not a monster, even though he fucked people's bitches and at the end had to raise a 20-year-old, 20 years of his life he spent on raising his girl who he found out wasn't even his daughter. Because you can't just fuck people's bitches without getting karmically balanced, right? But does Jason Love have horns on his head? No, none of that. What, is he shredded? He's shredded. You know what I mean? This idea, like, there's the common man thinks you get punished for smashing bitches. And if that was the case, we'd see it in Dan Bilzerian. Well, we'll see it in the next life. And no, you won't. No. If anything, it strengthened his lower forces. He's just going to have more time. He's going to need more time to develop certain compulsive drives he has. He's going to be tortured with that. Or maybe he purified them, right? When you purify them, you can pipe everyone on earth. Nothing happens. And young men get really calmed down when they hear this. They go, whoa, you're right. I know a lot of good looking, healthy, very glowing human beings for decades on decades who smash a bunch of bitches. It's not just Dan Bilzerian. And then the world starts to make a lot more sense for the young man, where you start to see that it's only when you're stepping on another soul's toes and harming them that you're waiting for a blowback. But a lot of fuck shit happens that goes, I don't want to say unaccounted for, but you think it's bad, but cosmically it doesn't harm anyone. Hoes being hoes and blah, blah, blah. If they're doing it in a loving way, as liberal as it sounds, I gotta keep it 100 with you. You've been lied to. Okay? You've been lied to. The only reason it feels like what I'm saying is wrong is because you guys are seeing it from the end of evolution where everyone is loyal and everyone is deeply evolved. Now, when your instincts are pointing to that future, obviously this present moment looks really dark, but you're never supposed to think like that. You're supposed to, and you're not supposed to think from the future and say, this is darkness. We have to go into our Jupiter state right now. You're supposed to say one step at a time, but we are walking towards Jerusalem together. And that's the posture you need in reality, where you say, oh, wow. So even all of these dirty cheaters, they're just going to be transformed and purified after they've suffered enough. And if you could look into another person's soul and see how much they've suffered, you would never be angry at a hoe. Dude, I'm telling you, I can never actually be angry at a hoe. I can never do that. What does Myron do on a podcast? It's just like angry at them. I can get frustrated. I can get irritable, but I can also laugh with them because when I look into someone's eyes, look at my star circuit, look where I'm born, it's very easy for me to say, damn, these hoes have suffered, man. It doesn't look like it externally, but there's a lot of suffering that I didn't go through that. I got spared off that. And damn, that is so wrong that we call them bitches and hoes. You know what I mean? Although a lot of that is dead language too. Like a lot of loved ones you'll be calling bitches and hoes and they'll be laughing. That's a lot of dead language. It doesn't count. But when you mean it, you're trying to harm someone else. Dude, most evil human beings you want to harm have suffered a lot, man. That's what's wild. Even Carmelo Anthony, who I despise for murdering someone, is the lowest thing a demon can do. But you don't just stab someone to death. It requires a lot of suffering to get to that point. It's not just like animalistic impulse. It's like he's had many incarnations of a dark dream state. He's really asleep. He's in a lot of pain, and I'm not the guy to spare him. I'm not the guy to give this speech because if I am a twin brother. If you murdered a twin, there's nothing that'll piss me off more than that. But I'm in the middle of myself. I don't get emotional. And I know I'll be seeing him in the future when he's transformed in his higher self. I'll be seeing all of you guys there too. And we're going to look at each other like, holy, look how much beauty is on the earth. Every face is beautiful, which actually means every face suffered a lot. Like you will be infinitely humbled when you meet each other again. You guys will say, damn, the world went through so much just to be loyal to each other. Damn, we should have just been following the will of the Christ. Why were we fighting our dream? Why were we fighting our nature when it was going upwards anyway? It was transforming. We should have been walking with it. It's like those guys who like become alcoholics because they fucked a bitch. Oh, I feel so guilty. I'm gonna burn in hell. And none of it is true. None of that is real teaching. You ask a priest, they'll never look you in the eyes and say you're burning in hell for smashing a bitch. Even after they give you their little gay repent talk and they don't understand anything really, or the ones I see online, it's my priest is based.
Man, I got to ask you though, does sin separate you from God? Or, like you said, if you do it in a loving way, then it refines your soul forces?
I'll say it like this because if you answer it, it sounds like you just refine it on the spot. When this is a gradual process of years and years and years of your life, if not decades, or for most people, hundreds of lifetimes. But the best way to see sin is you're unconscious and doing something you don't want to do. Have you ever noticed that all the evil that you don't want to do, you do that? And all the good that you feel like doing, you never get around to it? That's what it means to sin. Is to sin means to miss the mark, which in when you translate it from ancient temple science, which turns into Christianity, it means you are unconscious and you're imagine like you're trying to move your avatar and he won't move. So is there anything more terrifying than that? Like move my arm a bit and my arm won't move. I want to take a few steps, but I'm too depressed to even go outside. Your body won't move, but your mind wants to go. That is to sin. Because when your body's going, you're very happy and you're like, there is a higher power. I'm free. But anytime you're unfree, you're in sin. Like a lot of people, like if you realized, if I just turned consciousness up just 10 degrees, turn the lights on a bit behind your eyes, most of the bitches you fuck, you wouldn't smash them at all. You wouldn't, I'll say this. You'd find them attractive enough for a hug, maybe even feel their breasts on your body and it's cute and squishy, but not attractive to where you want to grab. Do you know what I mean by that? Like your fat friend, your fat chick friend, or the bitches Davinsky fucks or whatever. And so when you see a conscious human being, you see someone who actually knows what they want. But when you see a dim human being, it's like those guys who go to Colombia and they just pick up anything off the street. And it's like, you don't even like her. What are you doing? You know how the greatest rule ever to hooking up with someone guilt free, since you guys are all gonna err in your ways, it's not even error. It's not, it's evolution. Don't see it like a Christian because that's how you become a homosexual that's repressed. And read Jung, man. If you don't trust me, read Jung, read Steiner, read someone more intelligent than your fucking YouTube pastor. Now, check this out. The rule for you guys is increase your consciousness when you're in front of the ladies and you'll see your looks match. If she's not your looks match, chances are you don't like her and it's not worth your time. It's not worth, because when a human smashes their looks their looks match, they leave the session going, that was awesome. That was great. God doesn't hate me. That was amazing. But when you smash something under your looks match, meaning you have to dim your conscious, you just dimmed it until until the room is dark enough to where you can smash her. You always leave like, I shouldn't have done that. Oh my God, I feel like the universe hates me. God hates me. That's why when I encourage guys to go get their crush, I just want them to crush that bitch because you see what is out there in the universe for you for the first time. Because when man fucks their crush, it doesn't matter who he is, his first thought afterwards is, I incarnated to do that experience with her. Like flat out, it becomes that romantic immediately. Even if you're a Christian, like you see this sometimes with Mormons who smash a porn star. Have you seen that? And they're just smiling and they marry her right away. And as much as in my world, that's a cock, but in his world, he came here to do that. He knows her for long periods of time. It's not just a fresh encounter. And the Mormon doesn't feel like God hates them for doing that. That's why Mormons are like, they smash. They don't give a fuck, and they keep smiling through it. Seems like they got a good head on their shoulders for God's forgiveness. And a lot of people think God is mad that you're smashing. Like that's never been in temple science, initiation science ever, right? It's you're mad that you're unconscious. I can't stop. I can't stop. Someone get me out of this compulsive loop. I can't stop. And God goes, oh my God. Oh my God, this guy is like, he's being tortured by his own powers. Like, why is he, I can't stop, I can't stop. So that's the part that's horrifying to the cosmos. Is like everyone's like, yeah, you can stop. You just stop thinking you can turn your brain off and meet people and shake their hands. They're humans, they're organisms, they've got souls. Anytime you shut your brain off, keep smashing bitches, and you're under this compulsive drive, it's not just like, oh, you harmed someone else and then God's mad. It's more like if God watched all of his children spinning in circles, freaking out, saying, I can't stop jacking off, I can't stop. You would, bro, the eternal would be like, yikes, you have infinite powers given to you right in your heart by me, and you're spinning around for thousands of years in a circle like an idiot, which still means evolving, but in a different kind of path. It's horrifying, right? It's like the worst thing you could see. That's why a lot of religious people, they're mentally ill because they try and teach you that God is judging you like a judge, but it's actually you're judging yourself, and you do that every time you go to bed and review your day backwards. And when you're done judging yourself and you see all the horrors you've done, you get terrified, you get shattered, You learn from it, you transform. And when all of your sympathies, antipathies, your heavens and hells, when all of that is transmuted, when you've judged yourself, you've seen your own face, and if it's ugly, it's horrifying, you become an alcoholic every day because you can't stand seeing what you've built so far. That is you. That's what death is. You see the face, the soul you've built inwardly at the end. That's why everyone's talking about moral purification, which doesn't mean like being a nerd. It just means being the knight that does the right thing for himself, his deeper self, which actually affects the world. And so after you're done judging yourself and terrifying yourself, because when God is perfect, there's no one with a gavel judging you. When God is perfect, he just gives you a cosmic mirror. You can look. You think God is here to punish and judge you and stuff. All of this is mystery language that confuses you. Like when they say it's a jealous God, if you knew what jealous means in initiation science, you'd say this God is a genius. Or how the fuck Sodom and Gomorrah and God told everyone to kill all those people. Do you know who those people were? They've had thousands of incarnate children. Of course, in that more instinctual time, you had to put the world in order with strength. Now the strength is inward because we have the Christ. We're in a different part of the evolution. And don't ever think, some guys are like, I feel like I missed out on the Alexander the Great part with the sword and the raping. And it's like, no, you didn't. You were there too. Relax. You had all of it. The only part you're missing is the Christ part right now, that you're supposed to transform yourself right now. That's the part you should focus on. Some of them, oh, if I was born thousands of years ago, it'd make more sense because I like the Old Testament badassness better. It's like, you've already went through it. You're already here. And now you can calm down. No, bro, hold on, man. And I got to remove these fucking mentally ill people. You've went through it already. You haven't missed out on anything in history. Even if the stuff you miss out on, you get carried along with the group soul ride. That's why everyone's consciousness is so developed right now, right? Compared to thousands of years ago, right? You got all those benefits. So when you see Christians tell you that God is going to judge you with a hammer and all that shit, that's not, don't confuse initiation science and mystery language, all right? A perfect entity will judge you with a mirror because that's one for one. That is perfect. You're made in God's image. If the image doesn't look right, you get horrified. You want to go to different worlds, do other things to develop. Everyone wants to go towards beauty, but define beauty. How come philosophers cannot define? Beauty is the evolution of morality. The whores you see on the street are very evolved spiritual beings. That's why they're beautiful. Everything evolves upwards towards beauty, truth, and goodness. Just look at the sun. Just stare at the sun for a bit. You'll see where you're headed. There's a reason the cosmos above you looks perfect. And then here you have a bald guy like Da Vinci, and you're like, that doesn't look, Da Vinci's not done evolving, right? But you could tell Da Vinci's also, he understands he's supposed to, like a lot of people understand they're supposed to evolve. He works on his liberal side of himself, right? He works on the liberal side of himself. He's, oh, actually, the Groypers are bad here. And so when people see God as like some judge, it's like, dude, these are like new Christian teachings that are mentally ill, right? They're, you do a review every night when you go to bed and you to see if you're morally progressing, right? Sleep is the cousin of death for a reason. So a lot of people don't realize that God is after all this review, after you've done all that, after heaven and hell, then it's spirit land. And then things open up and you are amazed. But yeah, it's like, it's not that you put your, I put my dick in a woman, God hates me. That's never been taught. That's like what mentally ill modern Christians teach. It's that you're compulsive, you're spinning in circles, and it looks weird in the cosmos. That's why when you guys get careers and mastery over something, you calm the fuck down and go, oh, Zherka, I'm so good right now. Everything's perfect. I go, why? You're still suffering? You're still, yeah, but I can manage it. And when you're compulsive, you're just like fapping. You're like, I can't stop, I can't stop, I can't stop. But it's not the action. It's more like the looping thought forms. No God wants to see his children suffer, right? And a lot of people are like, well, why doesn't God just intervene and stop it? Dude, you have so much blackness and darkness built up over your lifetimes that I'm telling you right now, most of the good in your life is actually grace. It's from the angels, the stars, star colonies. They caress your head with light, right? And reality. They pour it onto you. And God gives us grace because he sees us stuck and spinning our tires. So it doesn't change our free will, but just loosens us up a bit. And so most of the good in your life that happens is not from you. And that is the hardest Christian lesson that blows philosophers out of the water. They hate this part. Read Swedenborg, The Christian Mysteries. Once you see the other side is all of the evil that you do on earth, you are doing it. And most of the good in your life is given to you for relief. They are relief packages. You don't actually deserve them. Most of the good that you do and gain are relief packages from angels. That's how merciful this is. But Zherka, what about the good that I do? That's all you. But it's very limited. It's extremely limited. You don't know how limited it is. That's why Da Vinci said he wasted his life. Imagine Leonardo da Vinci saying that. So those guys who actually wake up and have an intuitive energy, an instinct that rises in the morning and transforms and it says, I'm glad to be alive, they're actually correct. Those guys who are positive in life, they're more evolved. They say, oh, I feel care packages. The less evolved beings say, everything sucks, I never get a break. Every time you feel a sense perception, you're dying. So how many times are you being resurrected? Every time you taste, touch, feel something is death. Every time you wake up in the morning and consciousness starts, you're dying. That's why you'll die if you don't go back to sleep and touch the God source. So you're getting revived every time you go to bed, little boy. You keep touching, and you humans get revived every single day of their life. They rise in the morning and then they say, I don't really believe in reincarnation. I don't believe that God can make me rise every fucking morning of my life for thousands and thousands of years. I don't believe that God is that merciful. You have been erroring for thousands of years, evolving, and you've been given so many breaks. And all the spiritual beings and angels that build up this world so you can have it, they sacrifice themselves and everything they have for you. And you wake up in the morning, you go, I don't know if I deserve my life. It's like, dude, if you could see the other side, you'd be like, philosophers are mentally ill. You know what philosophers say? Life is boring. I can't do it. Nothing ever happens. Like, dude, there's for thousands of years, you got all of these care packages, even if you don't do anything, right? I think God's mercy is too powerful, man. You know, in a strange way, it's like go look in Walmart. These people don't deserve this level of mercy. I've never even seen. You can't name a saint even 1% on the level of It's just mind boggling how merciful God is if you actually understand the Christian mysteries. Or you could listen to some fucking faggot pastor who tells you he revives you once. By the way, as you're breaking down, remolding your body, building yourself back up, sleep, waking cycles, you're building towards something, a true resurrection body in the conscious world, not just this, not your sleep world, but here. So when I say humans have way too much to look forward to, you have no idea. That's why anyone who's ever had a psychedelic experience, whether it's a heavy one or a medium one, whether it's 3 grams of mushrooms, schizophrenia, be careful, whatever it is, they always come back and they say there's so much more out there, but I'm happy to be here. It's so badass to imagine saying I'm happy to be here, even though the future you're headed towards is everything you see in movies and fantasies is way smaller, dude, than what's coming. And obviously it'd overwhelm you if it wasn't one step at a time. And a lot of people are like, damn, the level of patience I need to be in the modern path is torture. And I'm like, no, it's not, bro. It's building your skeleton. You'll be upright. It's good thing. The scars, the aging on your face is a good thing, right? A lot of you guys don't realize that all the philosophers, every human being got it wrong. I'll even go as far as saying every mystical teaching is wrong that doesn't apply. Fuck. Stubbed my toe. Son of a. But let me get in the middle of myself. Every single T transmute the pain upwards. And that's tough to do when you have anger issues. Believe me. Every single mystical teaching I disagree with that doesn't involve, if it doesn't involve evolution, it's wrong, right? Which a lot of mystical teachings are very static, especially the ones where you exit the dream world. So be careful with those. You got to look into the world, man. Look into the world. You'll see all the animals in nature. The cow is your digestive forces expressed externally. The lion is courage and heart forces. The tiger is your will forces. The will that wants to be left alone and do its thing. The tiger wants to be left alone. Birds are your thoughts. The eagle soars high into spiritual cognition. That's why your brain looks like a bird and your chin in skeletal form is a beak. Your tongue is an octopus. It eats the food. You've got the mineral kingdom in your toenails in every part of your body. Then you have the plant kingdom with your bundles of nerves we call chakras and life force energy waking up. And then your astral animal forces. I want this. I want that. Desire, yes and no's. And then your I, your ego consciousness, the highest part of you. And these have to be in balance. You cannot be living life like a philosopher. All the philosophers are wrong. Which, if I was to give one philosopher uh, all the credit of who nailed reality the best, as much as I want to say Plato, I'd say it's Soren Kierkegaard, because a philosophy on being optimistic towards everything going wrong. He lost 5 brothers. He fulfills the Christian mysteries like no other. He's my Job. He is my Abraham. He is my everything because he's closer to the modern world. So we can learn a lot more from his incarnation than anyone else's, even though it's dense. And on the other side, you guys are all going to say, whoa, so the gay science thing is real. Yeah, Nietzsche's gay science of being optimistic in a dark world is correct. And that is the Rosicrucian posture too, that the world's really fucked up too. And you cannot be that guy that's affected by how fucked up it is. And you can't make snap judgments. You know, you can't make I don't like this. I don't like that. Some things you don't like, you eventually love later. Did you know that? Right? I hated reading when I was a kid. So what do you don't even know what you like and don't like. You're evolving. Be careful going bowling and golf and all this meaningless shit, bro. Be careful with that. There's so much more to do, and it all stems from mastery. No matter how many times you have to readjust your thought forms, there's always a lot more to do. And never fall for this I fucked a bitch so God hates me thing. If God hated you, you wouldn't wake up in the morning, period. Okay? You hate yourself because you just used the woman. You can't live with that. That's the truth. And sometimes you got to use a woman, right? Sometimes you got to say, hey, I apologize. I just wanted to smash. I was being very mischievous and evil. And sometimes they say, hey, me too.